Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And we're seeing a nice little rebound here in indices after a good little sell-off in the at the end of the U.S. session. And we didn't go too much further beyond that, but we rebounded and had a pretty good little push here. Wow, to the extent of 626. This was key if we get a hold above this 15613, but really the key comes in for them to turn around would have to be a 2-hour close above 15638. And let's go and take a look at the S&Ps. Back here to this area here on the S&Ps, let's go right into the 2-hour chart, but getting right back above 4512. But after a pretty good little sell-off yesterday, some concerns, we pushed right here into this resistance here, which was the bottom of the zone right there at 4512. Pretty good, as I mentioned, right here, run a little here on the Nasdaq. We'll see going into PPI if there might be a little bit of a pullback. We shall go on and see. And let's take a look at gold. Gold has rebounded after a double dip to this 1785, back up here towards this 1805. 1802 is key, but beyond that is 1808. And then take a look at where we stand here on crude oil, making a move right back up. Pretty nice little rebound too. Looks like they're trying to make a move back up to the 69.55 area. So with that being said, let's go on and take a look at the calendar. So it did get French industrial production. Came in at 0.3. Spanish industrial production says 3.4, and also Italian industrial production came in just a little while ago, up 0.8. But as we come into today, the bigger mover today is going to be at 8:30 Eastern. It's going to be the Canadian employment forecast of 100,000. The last one was 94,000. And then in the US, we do get PPI. Concern there is going to be the running a little bit hot. We'll see how much that goes and impacts it. And then at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do get wholesale inventories here in the States. So with that, let's go and take a look where we stand here with the analysis. A little bit of a rebound here in the euro after the move that we saw for the ECB. Wasn't a whole lot of change. It was a little bit of a dip. Back up here, Preston, this is some resistance here, but looking a little bit closer, I don't know that we're going to go and push a whole heck of a lot beyond that. I mean, you can make the case right here, and we did make the case because we may have seen some good volatility on the ECB. We didn't really, so I'm going to keep it simple. Got a nice little level here right there at 1847. That's going to be our resistance. And support right there at the opening body, 1817. We'll see how we close out the week. And let's go and move into the cable. Nice little run up here in cable. The other thing is in 3878 is key. I don't have it up on the cash futures, but this was actually a pretty good heavy volume area here. When we were making this run, now that was on the futures though. That was on the 6B, but the 3870 on the 6B. A lot of heavy volume in this area, so I'm gonna stick with this. It's 3878. We'll see with how much further they can try and push beyond that. 3878, and on a pullback, had a pretty good little run too. Let's go right there. 3830. Moving on to the Aussie dollar. Same here, smart little rebound here. Same thing with this one here. We had 74.02. It's actually right now at 74.05. You can see right there, that close. There's a 74.02. We're at 74. Well, we actually add 74.06. I'll stick with 74.05 for resistance. We'll see whether or not it can sustain or actually sustain and move beyond that. The key level here actually is that weekly level of 74.27. They may be able to try and push that a little bit further. We'll see whether or not they can. That's actually the key level. I just don't know if it'll make it all the way up to 74.27. Let's stick with that. And then for support, $73.45. Moving into the dollar yen. We still remain just kind of up and down on this thing. We had our support 986. They dipped a little bit lower yesterday after a pretty good little sell-off as indices came under some pressure. Dipped down to 961. The upside is going to go, we're going to go right there with that body close here, which is going to be 1008. And support coming right across that body. And you can see it touching these wicks. Is 962. Moving into the cash dollar index. We had 92.35 yesterday for a low. It got to 92.38. We're pressing that right now at the moment, but I'll stay with 92.35, which we had for yesterday. Same thing as if the euro is looking to maybe run out of gas there. Same thing with the dollar index. We'll stick with 92.35, and on the upside, taking a tight day, 92.70. And then on to Bitcoin. Boy, are we just sitting here in a very, very tight range. After a little bit of fireworks, we've just gone dead as a doornail. We're just hovering right here at this key level. Still think that they have to press lower to test these stops. Let's go see that body there. That's actually they found the support there, the body right there. Let's go with 44,470. And on the upside, just going with the levels right there. 47,459. Moving into the ES. Pretty good little run up in here. Looked like the market might have been potentially to push lower. We had 44.82 yesterday. We came to 44.86. They're trying to make a push here. Resistance. We'll see whether or not they can get there. But that would be right there. 45.17. And support. $44.98. Keep it pretty tight. And take a look at the Nasdaq. We saw a pretty good little sell-off yesterday. You can see there. Door was open for them to press lower, but look, we've had a nice little rebound. This is key here. As I told you, to invalidate it, we'd be looking at 16,438. Let's list that as our resistance. And support. At least for right now, based on the way everything's going, 15,561. Pretty good solid little move. You can see it went to the opening range low from the previous day. And then this offers some pretty good little support here. Volume-wise, 15,590, but support, you can see a lot of decent volume coming here at 80. And you can see here that the key volume on the session right now is right there, which is 15,576. But you can see here, and I mentioned this yesterday at the end of the session, I was saying, if we can keep a foothold below 15,580, that'd be key, which it didn't. I mean, it got lower, but this is, I meant it right here is key. And actually, you can see, yeah, so it's going to be really right there. Let's call it 15,578. And if you look in here, current point of control in the full session, 15,583. For the previous day, 15,582. Let's switch it to RTH. RTH POC was 15,622. Also the IB, so it's a pretty good little fade for there. Here's the volume, 15,574. We'll go with that 15,578. And let's go and move into the gold market. Jaime says if you look at sterling versus the yen, okay, well, I haven't looked at that in a long time. Generally, I only look at the majors, but we can take a look. Let's see, gold did get a bounce back. You know how I feel about gold. I just don't. I mean, it's tricked a lot of people before. Remember, if you remember, was it 6 weeks ago? We did spend quite a bit of time going over how I thought that it was just, open to a lower move lower. I just didn't know it was going to be that would completely fall apart at the time, but I thought we would move lower. Same thing on this one. Really fooled a lot of people here. I'm just going to go with 1808. Oh, they already had that 1808. Perfect. And then support, same thing, thinking that they're going to keep it tight now. We'll go with 1794. And moving on to crude. It looks like we're just trying to push right back up there. I don't know that they will get back there, but it's moved back up to the old 69.55, which we already had. Support 67.95, which I had, which pretty much caught it for yesterday. Not thinking that they're going to go all the way back down there again. Right there. 68.36. Let's take a look at sterling versus the yen. Well, there's key weekly resistance there at 52.91. Nice little run up here so far. Let's call it, actually, but you have to go, there's 52.86, but you got to go with the one right there, which is 52.96. You got resistance 52.96. Then here's on the daily. No, that's not good here. I mean, you have to go with this one, and that wouldn't be right to do it that way. So we got 52.96 is key. on a weekly, but looking at this close here, 53.07. One of the things you have to factor in is look how this thing's been moving higher, and we're going towards the end of the week, or we're at the end of the week. So anybody short, let's say someone said, this is a great area to step in and sell this here. And okay, I'll add some more. Here's a better area. Oh, wait. Well, then anybody they're all going to be having to, not everybody, but you're going to have people being forced to cover. And so it'll be pushing higher. So immediate resistance, but the bulls have control right now. Right there. So we got this little zone here. Decent little zone. Pull this back. Look. You got this little zone in here. Immediate resistance right now is going to be right there. 52.69, but it's really 52. And remember, 52.96 is a weekly close. So I'd say, and there's 52.88 right there, but I'd say 52.96, which is a weekly close. But I think that if you were trying to be short, it'd be best to wait. But because I think that this, now that they've goosed these people, this is just people that are getting stopped out of the shorts right now. But if you think it's a little bit of a value here, yeah, then this would be a good little area here. The press up against 52.70. I like this area right there, that close, and we dip back and get the wick. So if you're hell bent to that, I think we could make it maybe even up to 52.86. As we roll into the Euro session, you'll probably see a few more people being forced to cover. So it pressed into this 45.10/12. We'll see whether or not we can ease back some. But I think on the ease back, you'll probably find people willing to go in and cover. That's why I'm saying is I don't think we have a whole lot that we can push beyond. Take a look at the Nasdaq. That's had a pretty good little run, but if you look here, you take a look at Apple. It's open to a little bit dip lower here. Doesn't mean we can immediately, but it's people going to be trading a bit on the defensive side. Here's Amazon. Look at that. These are the dailies. Microsoft. Look at that. So although we've had a pretty good little run, we may open the door or open up the US session, pulling back. I just don't know whether or not we're going to turn around and get this follow through to this extent. That's why, as a matter of fact, I had 15,578. Actually turns out to be also, no wonder it's a key volume area because it is a level where there's doing a lot of business there. So what you might do is get the market pull back. On that first run, though, it looks like it's 90. 15,590. Should see some, you can see right here. See all these little clothes right here and the wicks. So down in here, probably get some little bit of covering there. Now they may come back up and then try and push back. And how much further down, we'll see. But this is gonna, the people that were bearish, I'm saying if you're in existing short positions, they're gonna be thinking, okay, well, I'll just try and cover back on a dip. I don't think unless equities really start to slide or thinking, okay, now let's get this move. Now the door was open for a move. And I said, the door is open for a move down here to 15,519, but we've actually had this market climbing back. And on Friday, even though we've been weaker, overall, when you look at it, it's still holding. So you'll probably get people trying to pick up on the dip and say, you know what, I'll come back in next week. So that's where we stand here on the bias chart. I'll get that posted. And thanks for joining us here on the European CrossFit webinar.